Old friend of yours.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is a special live mastermind. Last Monday, I jumped on Zoom with Wally. We did about a 13-minute video because we had just released the new AI mortgage coach to the world. And Wally had the alpha test. So him and Brock, who's going to be joining us shortly online, had been testing it and they had results. And we talked about like, hey, how is this helping you? So we'll talk a little bit about that. But Wally also said, you know what? I want to do a little bit of a master class and really share the prompts that we're using, talk about how we're winning with home buyers. I also asked Wally, like, hey, let's talk about how Mortgage Coach with AI actually creates a new value prop for realtors. So how would you talk about that to a real estate agent? We'll see how far we go down that rabbit trail today. So for those of you that are on here, let's make this mastermind. Ask questions, make comments as we go. We got about 35 of you. Also use that reaction feature in the bottom. Give us a little thumbs up. If you know how to use that reaction feature, give me a little thumbs up. Just come on, guys, thumbs up. All right, so Wally, just setting the stage, going from memory from last week, you and your team are going to do over 100 million this year in production. So you're doing a lot of loans. You're coaching, you're mentoring loan officers. You've got a book in the marketplace and you've got a community. Let's just talk about how you're winning in this market, and then how are you using Mortgage Coach and specifically AI with Mortgage Coach to win in the market.
Yeah, so been in business 26 years. It's been an awesome career, but this is my favorite time ever, my whole entire career. I mean, we're a little bit over $70 million in production the first 6 months of the year. So we'll be north of probably 150-ish or so this year, which is really awesome. Really excited about the team and really the whole Aspire loan officer group. And what's super cool about it is Mortgage Coach was a standard, not a suggestion, in my loan officer years. It's also a standard at our mortgage company. It's not a suggestion. What I mean by that is we've built a culture that everything builds around the TCA. And when we're obviously presenting options with borrowers, the TCA is a big part of that. But every single we adopted something that's been around since like the late 80s, early 90s, the fifth page of the 1003. So that's where my book came from, the 6 lane highway. And when you go out there and you're sharing with a financial advisor, here are the three options I put together for the borrower. Here's the one I recommended. Now, does this meet your financial goals that you have for John Smith? The relationship and the conversation is completely different. So it really helped us go from, $100 million in fundings in 2019 to 150 million in 2020, $200 million in 2022 and 21 and beyond from there. But what's been really great about that is when Dave reached out to me and talk about the AI aspect of it, a mortgage coach, I was absolutely tickled pink about it, but I didn't want it to be just my results. So I went to Brock, one of our top loan officers, which is on a panelist screen with us here, and I said, "Hey, Brock, all right, you're doing 2, 3, 4 million a month. Now, with that being said, I want you to help me flagship this out." And what was super cool about it, now I'll have him kind of share his story, but him on the realtor side, just realtor side, was able to land six more contracts and generate $40,000 more in commissions just by using specifically the prompts and presenting it in the AI aspect of it for Mortgage Coach. But what's been cool on the other side of the coin is now me and the loan officers using the AI portion of Mortgage Coach for the sake of with financial advisors, with CPAs, with family will attorneys, with insurance agents, and how those conversations go. So I am incapable of teaching a class without you walking away with a roadmap. So today we put together a breakdown of the top 10 different AI prompts that we used for the last 30 days or so of the AI and through Mortgage Coach. Zoe dropped a link in the chat for everyone. So I'm going to give this away for free. We're going to go through it today on the PowerPoint where everybody's super clear about the different prompts that we used and also why did we use those how do you sell that to the borrower, and how do you sell that now to the realtor or financial advisor or such from there? So we just dropped it, just dropped in the chat for everyone, the link for all the PowerPoint that we're about to go through. But did I explain that well, Dave? And do you want to ask Brock his experience?
Yeah, Brock, why don't you give your experience and then let's get into these 10 prompts and talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Definitely. Yeah, like Wally said, Mortgage Coach became a standard as soon as I joined Aspire, and I hadn't really used it before. I saw the success he was having with it, but now that everybody is going to ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, nothing was really specific. So I was really pumped to have this built in. But with using it, if you're just asking a question to ChatGPT after I've presented options through my TCA, then nothing's going to be really specific. So I was like, how do we just lead our borrowers to just prompt within the TCA? And this is really what we've come up with to get them more engaged, because when we're on the phone call, we can help them dive into what all of these graphs are meaning and what value they're going to get out of these numbers and how it can work with their agent for the strategy when they go to put in an offer. But with us leaving them with these prompts, when I do my video and send it out to them, then they have another way, even when I'm not on the phone call, to continue building more trust with me. That way, if we ever get into a shopping situation, I know Wally's probably mentioned this. We haven't had to take any concessions from the company on any of these deals because we've built the relationship deeper and deeper through leaning into prompting them every time we send this out.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think as a business owner, the excitement a loan officer has when they don't have to take concessions versus the frustration a loan officer has to take when they've got to go ask for a concession is a completely different culture and completely different mindset. So the prompts that were built today help you gear to be able to present options to your borrowers in a profitable way, in an efficient way, and in an effective way that helps increase your conversion rate. So explain that well, Dave.
You did. You explained it really well.
Cool. All right. Brock, you want to share your screen and let's jump into the 10 prompts?
Let's see if I could share here. Um, all right, you seen that on your side, Dave?
I
There we go.
do.
Awesome. So, let's dive on in. All right, let's see if it'll. There we go. So here is the first one that we're using, and a big strategy with us working with first time home buyers is really pointing out the benefit between them. So as we work up a specific TCA, the different prompt that we'll use is kind of going along with that when we record our videos. But with showing the rent versus own, we'll have that graph there. But if I'm not on that phone call explaining to them, I want them to really have the AI tool to be able to elaborate on whatever we went over on the call to show those differences. So what are the long-term financial benefits of owning a home versus renting based on the mortgage strategy that we've got worked up there? And it's going to be able to pull all of those individual pieces where I'm going through it with them on the phone. And then on that video, it's allowing them when they're going back to review with their spouse, when they're going back to show their real estate agent, they're going to have hard data there. And then it's going to be able to extract that very quickly for them. Do you have anything to add on how you've used this, Wally?
No, I think that's brilliant for the fact of you having that conversation with the realtor and keeping them in the loop and using and reinforcing them owning a home instead of renting a home and using the data from the prompt to be able to give them that roadmap. I
Yeah.
love this is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, and I do want to just call out to everyone. I mean, it's just never been more important that you go beyond the transaction. And I mean, for a long time, you've needed to go beyond what a consumer can find on Google. And now you need to go beyond what a consumer can find or create in chat or AI. And you're the only one, that can really get out of that consumer. What are their assumption on interest rates? And are they going to go up or down? What are their assumption on appreciation rates? What are they going to do? And then to be able to go beyond the transaction and future cast that. I mean, I love this one. I'm sure they're going to all be awesome, but I mean, this is the foundation of being a mortgage advisor.
Yeah, let me jump over to the next here. Okay, so this is right in line with what you're saying there, Dave. As I've had that conversation, we've talked through where rates are going. We've talked through what appreciation's looking like and having hard data with that, we're able to input it back in. So if a client is just saying, hey, let's ask ChatGPT this question, it might give them a broad answer. But when we're diving into this, going off of their assumptions, we're able to see that their total net worth that's built up, and they're going to be able to ask this prompt on the TCA, and it's going to pull up exactly not only what just general data, but what we've reviewed and what they're thinking, exactly where those numbers are going to line up for them. So if we need to pan this out as an investment for them, if this going to be investment property, what's the equity that's going to be building in this property over the next few years? Nothing's going to be left to being black and or no, nothing's going to be left to just a question. It's all going to be black and white with the way that they end up reviewing this, and they'll be able to continue to ask that question for different scenarios on different time frames.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is also one of the favorite ones of a financial advisor I was talking to. It was his name is Chris, and the borrower's last name was Anderson. And I went through and I said, hey, here's one of the questions that we talked about, and I said, hey, let's map out the next 10 years of where this client's going to be net worth wise. And then we figured out what amortization we wanted to be in, what equity position we're going to be in, and what future value we're going to be at that. And then it allows them to financially forecast where the client's going to be. But it sounds really simple, but it's a great way to be able to articulate the value through using the prompt.
Yeah, and I've seen it relieve a lot of fear for buyers as well. If they're scared of market crashes and they've just had the conversation with me, they plan on being in this home for 5 years. There's no fear that's left over once they end up having their graph that's built up, and then also asking the AI to be able to compile these numbers and show them, hey, in 5 years, you're going to have this much equity. Worst case scenario, that the numbers that we went over, here's the facts. Here's where you're going to be and have a good equity position. If the worst thing happened, you had to sell in 5 years. So use this one almost every single client. Let's jump.
Got it.
Okay,
And for the
let's
people
jump.
that asked, the link should be in there. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be one link down below, a housing.link. And within that link, you'll get this link and any other links that are mentioned.
So this one is probably my personal favorite, and that I use with every single real estate agent when I'm trying to send out the TCA to them. So with working this up, I want to make sure I look like the ultimate partner to any of my agents that I'm working with. So when we're doing this, I'm working up a lower cash option where it may be less points, a no escrow option, one with seller concessions, and being able to see which option is going to help minimize their cash to close. Because when they're going to their real estate agent, they're typically not talking about all of the details of the transaction. They just want to decrease their cash in some facet. So when I'm sending this out and prompting the agent to ask these questions to it, it seems like I am far beyond anybody that they've ever worked with, because I'm showing 3, 4 different strategies where they can minimize their cash to close. And really only one of them is asking the seller to do it. So there's ways that we can get ahead of that, even if we're not able to find a house that's been on the market for a while. So this one just makes every real estate agent just above and beyond, because they know they can make an offer on a property that's new on the market and they still have an option for their client to decrease their cash to close.
Yeah.
Another,
Oh, go ahead. You go first, Wally. Then I have a few thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I would say, when our borrowers send an offer out, we call it the obviously we pick up the phone, call the listing agent. And
Mhm.
that was on, I think it was two Tuesdays ago, where I was on a listing agent call and I was helping the client win the contract. And I let him know, I said, hey, when I present options to my borrowers, I use a tool called MortgageCoach. It's total cost analysis. And I wanted to let you know that when we use that tool, we looked at it. Hey, we asked it, the AI portion of it, about their down payment, how to minimize their cash to close. And what's great about that is, I want to let you know that when we're making the offer, my client has 4 times as much needed cash to close as needed to qualify for this mortgage. And we use this AI tool to be able to calculate that. We ended up winning the offer because that showed to the listing agent how strongly qualified the buyer was by using this prompt, and that the buyer was super excited to win the deal.
Yeah, so a couple things. So one, I see Mose Gatling on the call. What's up, Mose? She's one of the top down payment assistants, loan officers really in America, and she's very involved in First Home IQ. Would love to know your thoughts on this, Mose. And I love this because it's helping realtors sell more homes. I mean, let's face it, cash to close. Down payment is one of the biggest barriers to home ownership. There's a tremendous amount of confusion for consumers, And with Mortgage Coach, you can show rent versus own. You can show different options with whether it's different down payment assistance options, different down payment options, both down payment assistance and down payment. Stacy Thorne has a question. Stacy, I have unmuted you. Did you want to ask a question real quick? You had your hand raised? No. I will put your hand down. If you guys have questions, put your questions in chat, and then I can. By the way, Mose, I'm gonna. Are you game with jumping on and being a panelist? Um, if you are, say yes, and I'll bring you back in a minute. But I would love to have you jump in, be a panelist, and ask some questions, make some comments. Keep going, guys. We'll see if Mose is available to become a panelist.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep.
Let's go to number 4, Brock.
Yeah. So number 4. So can you explain the difference in total interest paid? So this is a spot that the number kind of intimidates people when they see it and they don't quite grasp what we're looking at there. So when we put this in, and I'll do this live when I'm recording my video, I'll type in this prompt, and then it's going to pop up exactly what they're looking at for the life of the loan. What's each cost? So when we're looking at certain time frames for them, and the interest over the first 5 years, or the cost of the loan over the first 5 years, after we've already plugged in those timelines, then it's the long number. It's the big number for the total cost of that loan. And this makes that interest rate very tangible to them. So it shows, hey, if you're buying down this interest rate versus not buying down this interest rate, what's the actual dollar figure cost? And this is going to allow it to spit out, rather than just being a percentage rate that kind of gets lost in the wayside. It allows them to really honestly compare options back and forth, and just completely gets rid of the confusion behind so many numbers that they're seeing through going through the process.
Mose, did you have a question or a comment so far?
I think everything that we're talking about is so prevalent right now. In most cases, my competition is what the buyer can find online or ask ChatGPT. So it is in fact a different standard, and you're prepping for that up front without having to deal with those questions coming to you and you not being prepared to answer them. So I find it's the best way I can be prepared up front, and my clients are less likely to shop me from those places like ChatGPT or even Reddit. Honestly, they'll go on Reddit and figure out what everybody else has to say about their estimate and literally give them details of what they were quoted, and then they boomerang back to you. So it's a phenomenal way to stay prepared or be ready in the moment when you're first giving someone an estimate, so they have all of their options and you're not thrown for a loop. The buyers that we're coming across now want to be more informed up front, and they don't want to have to beg you for the info. So
Love that perspective.
it's like the sin of omission, right? I find that if a buyer comes back to ask you, now they felt like you omitted the facts to start with. So if you go into it telling them all the things, giving all the options, even if you think it's a lot of information, it is in fact a great way to connect with them and get everything out in the open, so they don't feel like you omitted the very thing that they could have needed. It's the perception of that.
Love that. And Wally, I'm going to ask you this question that Mose just threw out about Reddit, but I want the whole audience. Are you having customers a lot that are both using AI and Reddit? I want to know how big of an issue is Reddit in the market, or how big of an impact is that? And Wally and Brock, how often is that coming up in the sales process with buyers?
I'd probably say, I'll give you 2 answers to that question. I'll say a year ago, maybe 10 to 15%. Now I'd probably say close to 40% of the conversations when you ask them about the research that they've done, and I always ask a question. I said, hey, I can stay at professor level, or I can make this a first grade level conversation. What I mean by that is, how much have you followed the market, where interest rates are and the trends of the interest rates? Talk to me about how familiar are you with the amortization schedules and principal pay down and net worth calculators from the sake of mortgage. And a lot of the questions I've been hearing back is, well, I was asking ChatGPT this, or I was asking AI that, and it's a different tone. But what's super cool now is I've got my own AI in Mortgage Coach, And every single time we're presenting options, we're presenting them with these 10 prompts that, hey, here's 10 questions I want you to ask to the Mortgage Coach AI, or pick your top favorite 3 questions, and helping them get on the roadmap to be able to get more informed, but they're informed in the same direction that I want them to go to.
Got it. Got it. That's helpful. And Brock, what about you? You think it's 40% now? Is that aligned with the experience you're having in the market?
Man, I would definitely say higher for myself. Most of my buyers are going to be Gen Z and millennials, and I would say as high as 75% when I'm asking those questions. I've started even asking if they're using AI to ask questions, just so I know kind of the direction and even their experience with technology. But it's a very high percentage. I don't hear Reddit as much. I personally use Reddit a ton, so I'm sure people are doing that. But I'm bringing up AI a ton, just to know how much research they're going to be asking and even double checking the things that I'm saying, and just cross referencing that with ChatGPT. But like we've talked about multiple times in this is going to allow it to be super specific to them. So they could go to ChatGPT, but it's not going to give them the specific answers that are in line with all of the conversation that we've had back and forth. So even though if they're using that, they're going to be familiar and they're going to be even more likely to be tied in, which that was the experience I had with the success we had over the first 30 days. We were able to see the people who were constantly engaging with these prompts. Those are the people that were going under contract. So as I was able to tie them in more, they had the access to information. And as soon as I saw it, I was able to beat them back to, hey, saw that you were asking this question, would love to hop back on a phone call. So rather than missing out, they're asking another loan officer, asking the internet and getting brought on to a different lender. I was able to beat them back to it because the prompt was able to lead them to that question and came back to my email. So I see it a ton, but I think it might be part of my clientele being a little bit younger.
Got it. Well, by the way, so far only Mike has responded in chat. So guys, everybody, let me know what percentage of the time, just at a gut level, and if you want to break it down between AI and Reddit, but how much are customers, your buyers, engaging with that, talking about it? And this is a chance to be the leaders. Also, guys, I put a link to a webinar we're doing this Thursday. We have 2 other top producing loan officers and a couple heads of marketing. They're going to be talking about how they have been using Mortgage Coach AI. And by the way, thank you, Ray, Matt, Rich. So far, they said 0. We got another 0. So some people are seeing it and hearing it, and clearly some people aren't. Be sure to sign up for that webinar, and please forward that link to your managers. We want to get Mortgage Coach AI built into everybody's tech stack, and we got to do that through management. So please let your managers know about what we're doing here at Mortgage Coach. And Mike, 35%. All right. What's the next one?
Number 5.
Okay, so this one's been huge for us on refinances. So as we're looking at these and we're trying to point out what is the overall benefit that people are getting from this refi. And when we're on the phone, I can point it out and we'll kind of walk through each of the options. But when they're putting this right here, it's showing a very black and white. This is cutting 4 years off of your mortgage. This is cutting 5 years off of your mortgage. You're paying the same exact monthly payment overall, but now you're paying off your house 5 years sooner. So with doing this, you can see it on the dashboard. We can talk about it as much as we want to, but when they ask very specifically, if I put all the savings back towards it, how much is this going to cut off? So even if it feels like a minimal amount of savings to them, they're able to see, hey, I don't have to do anything different, go through this process, and I just cut 4 or 5 years off my mortgage. So it's been a huge game changer. As soon as somebody's kind of on the fence, I'm like saying, hey, you can keep paying your same payment, paying your house off in 28 years, or keep paying your same payment and pay it off in 23 years. Which one would you rather have? And it turns into a no-brainer.
So I want
Yeah.
everybody to write down hashtag financial freedom lending. Like this is where you are not only helping people with a loan, but you're helping people achieve financial freedom faster. You're using Mortgage Coach, you're using AI. Wally, anything you want to add to this one?
Yeah, I would say my favorite thing about this falls right in line with the mortgage efficiency checkup call, or the annual mortgage review. And now we're starting to add this language and promoting the AI prompt to the client concierge teammates calling our past clients. the schedule for the loan officer, the annual mortgage review, and using this language of different success stories that we've had using this through AI and saving the number of years or the reinvestment strategies. It gives you so many angles. It gives you so many ways to be able to articulate the value of them getting on a call with you, which keeps you engaged with your past clients. And that's what builds that residual income in your mortgage business.
What about you, Mose? Anything you want to add to this one?
Not too much. They've got it really covered. I think everybody is spot on. It's an amazing principle to have embedded into the business right out the gates.
Love it. So guys, I mean, Mortgage Coach has always given a competitive advantage, but now in this era of AI, like if you do not become a mortgage coach and go from I'm using fee worksheets to using an AI-enabled mortgage coach experience, I mean, you're behind. So guys, it's never been easier to sign up. Just go to trustengine.com. If you have not already become a member, you can sign up as an individual loan officer. And if you guys do not have this integrated into your tech stack, let your management team know, reach out to me at either Dave at Trust Engine, private message us, but like we want to get you on the team. All right. And remember, put questions in chat. Uh, let me see if I thought we just had a question. Yeah, it's for Matt, who just said, I see an AI prompt in the bottom left of my TCA. Does that mean, yeah, you got it. Like, I mean, if you are a mortgage coach, whether you're an individual user or a mortgage coach, or you're with a lender that has us built in their tech stack, you have this right now. So bottom left hand in the corner, use these prompts, use other prompts. What's the lowest cash to close option? If I'm going to refinance in 2 years, which option should I use? Uh, we're hearing a lot of people ask, are these rates competitive in the market? And here's the beautiful thing, guys. As your consumer engages and interacts with Mortgage Coach using AI, you're getting the transcript. You're seeing what questions they're asking, and you're seeing what AI has told them. So again, it's just making you more effective than ever.
Well, and also like
Number six.
this number six, it's definitely a great one. If you get a lot of business or even a little business, or if you want to get more business from financial advisors, this is a great one. Brock, lead us off number six.
Yeah. So comparing this, if it's a lot with my move up buyers, when they're selling something, getting a large lump sum, I want to definitely work up options to show them a lower down payment option. Even if we've had that conversation, hey, we're putting 20% down. It's what we've always done. We're going to do it again. I'm going to show them their total net worth by reinvesting this cash. So with doing this, I'll have the graph worked up, working up their total net worth, but then I'm guiding them back to the AI to be able to have this. That way, between each option, I'll work up four different levels, different down payments, different sizes. But my ultimate goal is, okay, if I had this conversation, they want to utilize the monthly payment works great, but they want to utilize this home to build their net worth, then what's actually going to be the most efficient way of doing it? Where I can tell them, but me showing them and then them reinforcing it to themselves by asking this question, it once again just clears the air. There's no back and forth, and their ultimate goal, if they put that 20% down, may be different than the total net worth, which is fine. But we want to be able to see, okay, if you're telling me that over the next 20 years you want to build the highest net worth possible and utilize this mortgage for that, then this is going to be the best route for you. So it allows me to take the weight off of me and then help this actually advise the client through and through. But I know, Wally, you work with a ton of financial advisors, so I'm sure this one is kind of a key for you guys.
Yeah, I mean it is, but for the fact of not only just for the clients like in process, but it's also the post
Hmm.
closing. I mean, you being able to land the client, win the deal using Mortgage Coach, walk them through these prompts. It makes it really easy to be able to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Mr. Client, I'm looking at your financial statement. Looks like your financial advisor is John Smith. It'd be really helpful for me to get reinsured that John Smith, financial advisor, is on the same page and thinks we're doing the great option. Can you do me a favor? Introduce me to John Smith, your financial advisor, via email. I'll reach out to him. I'll go through all these options with him. And maybe he's got some questions that he wants to ask Mortgage Coach AI. just like you did, for the sake of what his financial plan is. And I jump on the phone or jump on a Zoom with a financial
Mhm.
advisor. I'm like, hey, what questions do you think you want to ask about options? And the financial advisors give me questions, and the interactiveness of it, and like the wow factor of you being on the phone with a financial advisor, reviewing their client's total cost analysis, asking the financial advisor, asking the AI different prompt questions. Like, do you think it'll be easier for you to get more referrals from this financial advisor and compound your success? It's like the shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. And if you have a TCA that doesn't have this type of content in it, it'll respond with a, like the net worth one. I had a TCA just now, I tested it, that didn't have net
Mhm.
worth built into it. It'll send them back to you. So just keep that in mind. These prompts are TCA centric. There may be some
Mhm.
mortgage coach homeowner strategies that it won't answer the information, but it will send them back to you.
Yeah, so all of these prompts, as we go through it, whatever I'm going over with them on the phone and the way that we built it out, that's really directing the way that I'm leading these prompts. But yeah, those subtle shifts and even just being notified if they ask these same questions, it's great that it's pointed back to us. We can just beat them to the punch and be able to hop on the phone quick.
Cool.
Yeah, and that number seven, seven's my favorite number, by the way, if anybody's curious. But number seven, I really liked a lot because it really it shifts them away. And I think this, I don't know what this, maybe this is why, Brock was more profitable on his loans, but it shifts them away from having the interest rate to focus on a rate. And we tell them that, or I tell them, my clients, hey, the interest rate doesn't matter. This is a band-aid loan. This loan you're only going to have for next year, 2, 3 years, somewhere that range. It depends on who wins this arm wrestle between the Fed and the president, and how that goes. But obviously, do you think interest rate is going to be lower a year, 2, 3 years from now? They say, yes, we do. Okay, great. Well, let's ask Mortgage Coach AI what's the best option together on the lowest overall cost. And when you're going that direction, they don't really care if the interest rate is 6.8 or 6.6 or 6.7. They understand, and they're off the laser of what is your rate today. Brian, go and jump to number 8.
Yeah, that's all I've got on that one. So this was one I was actually using today with a client. So they're asking about how much they're going to need in concessions. This guy's very tight on his monthly payment, and I worked up a temporary rate buy down as well as a permanent rate buy down just to show him, hey, we're putting in this scenario. It's a $200,000 townhome, and what's $6,000 going to do for him buying down his interest rate? Wasn't really going to change the payment too significantly, but buying it down 2% was a huge difference for him. So with inputting this directly into the AI, it's allowing to show him, hey, on this specific address, here's going to be the breakdown of what the cost saving is going to be. So when we're going in to make this offer, then we're going to say, hey, we're asking for 6,000 because of this. And I know Wally referred to it. I want to show this not only to my buyer agents, but also to listing agents that as we put the offer in, hey, we've analyzed this. Here's how we need to work it up for the client for it to make sense. So rather than just saying, hey, we want this just because we want a lower monthly payment, here's how we've analyzed this. Here's how we've crafted the offer to make it work for the sellers and the buyers. And it once again just wows the listing agent to allow us to set ourselves up to not only get the offer accepted, but get a meeting with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I
But,
think it's candidly what the borrower deserves.
mm,
We as loan officers make a lot of money. But what's really important about using a tool like this allows us to be a strategist, allows us to be an advisor, and using tools like this and coaching them through the prompts is what they deserve. All right, Brock, what's number 9?
There we go. So I like to show a no escrow option a ton. So we've got an option that we can go down to 5%, 5% down with no escrow, which as people get tighter on cash to close, by bringing this up to them, even if I've had a specific scenario where I was competing hand in hand, we were basically the same rate, same cost. I was able to do this option with no escrow to really minimize this cash to close. Now, with doing this, maybe they want to use escrow, maybe they don't want to use escrow. It's all coming through a personal decision there. But if we're not able to get the concessions that they're shooting for, if they're a 5% down payment person, then I'm bringing this up right away. Just going back to the last conversation about just having a strategy in hand, this allows us to just be proactive and saying, hey, if we get concessions, here's where cash to close. If we don't get concessions, I still have a way to minimize your cash to close by $6,000-7,000. Here's how we do it, and here's the things we have to move around with your loan. But we're going to at least have different strategies and showing, hey, here's a no escrow. Here's why it's minimizing your cash to close and what this new strategy is going to look like.
Yeah, I just love these questions because they're showing consumers that you know them. These are typical, well, I don't know if they're typical, but they're questions they should ask.
Mhm.
Question like you're educating them with questions and you're doing it in a way that has unique value to you. So I'm digging this.
Yeah,
Motive
we got.
thing over the past few that you want to call out or comment on?
Well, what was that, Dave?
Well, I just want to see if Monet had anything to add
Oh, I'm sorry.
or ask any questions you have, Monet, for Wally or Brock so far.
Oh, I think everything they're saying is super helpful. You're anticipating what the client may run into if they run into it online or, I don't know, at the barbecue over the 4th of July, who may have brought something up to them because they heard about doing a 2-1 buy down. So by anticipating it, it's a great system to have just in place. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keep questions
And we
coming in chat. Anybody and everybody.
And we with number 10, I think it will be we save the best for last because number 10 is the format and if you want, Dave, we can share a few TCAs and kind of show you like a live example of it. But
Yeah, of
it's
course.
how we position the total cost analysis with the highest cost or the lowest cost or a lowest down payment or a lowest cash to close. A lot of times, unfortunately, I've seen loan officers put in 30-year fixed 1 point, 30-year fixed 2 points, 30-year fixed 3 points, and like the language of that. So, Brock, you want to close this out with number 10?
Yeah, so what Wally was saying, I've seen a lot of those, and when I first started like getting into Mortgage Coach, I was doing the same exact thing when I was labeling my options, which was great. It was sharing information, but I wasn't framing it in a way that was going to be receptive by the buyer. So we started just working in a lower payment option, so something with points. Somewhere I didn't want to put somewhere in the middle. I put not the highest, not the lowest. Just get their mind completely off of just the hard interest rate and points, and bring it back to, hey, there's a little range that you can pick for what you're looking at here for our options. And then I've seen people do mortgage coaches and put the highest cost option before, but and same thing with the lowest cost option. But here's a lower cash, here's a lower payment, here's somewhere in the middle, and it gives them a lot of the freedom that hey, I am in control with this, and we're going to help structure this with exactly with where we want to go. But I'll let you guys dive in. I'm going to pull one up as well, just how we structure this.
Yeah, I want to add a little bit to that. So guys, that was really and you can stop sharing the screen real quick. Let's fireside chat, and then we'll pull up a TCA. But that was the founding principle to Mortgage Coach. I was, my value prop was my advice makes a difference, and I wanted that to be real. I had come up with this selling philosophy called wow selling, where like, how can I surpass people's expectations at scale? And then this all happened within a year. I read a book, a Six Sigma book, and it had this term called moments of truth. And those are customer interactions that have, pivotal. They make the difference in the relationship. And I'd come up that when I'm asking for someone for their social security number and I'm presenting rates and fees, it's a pivotal moment. It's a moment of truth and I wanted to win. And so loan officers were quoting, here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your cash close. And I'm like, oh, total cost selling. If I showed people their total cost and then I compared those, and now we looked at which loans different over time that matters to them, I'm different. I'm wowing at scale. I'm delivering a moment of truth where you win. And so, guys, that is the founding philosophy. I would, my only feedback to you guys, I would make that number one instead of saving the best for last, just because it kind of like confuses people
Mhm.
and enlightens people. But obviously, this is your process. By the way, that document you just shared, did you just make that to teach the group, or do
Yeah,
you use that document in the
we
sales process or in the realtor experience?
I mean, you and I literally just talked about this like what, 6 days ago, 5 days ago.
So you
So
made that for this class.
we
This
made
was
it for
a
this class specifically for Mortgage Coach. However, we're adopting it in 24/7 mindset, and we're also adopting it for Aspire Mortgage Advisors. So it's something that it was made for this class, but it got birthed through that conversation you and I had when I was in Vegas.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm just brainstorming is that if you're going to be doing a realtor lunch and learn, you might, if you have a long time, you might do all 10 and show them like this is how I'm different. But if you
Yeah.
don't, you might use three of them and like, hey, this is how I'm going to help you sell more homes. This is how I'm going to create more confidence. You know how you have a lot of home buyers that are like, should I buy now or should I wait? Or what should I do? Like, oh, let me show you how three prompts, how I can get people off the fence of confusion and I could get them into escrow. What are your thoughts on that, Mose?
I love it. 3 to 5 tips. Everybody loves the 3 or the 5. So being able to present that to your CPAs, insurance people, or anything as the top 3 tips for any audience would be actually really phenomenal. Help you show how you're different and how you're helping them convert. Conversion is important for the agents as well.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
really like the idea of using prompts for it because rather than just coming in and saying, here are our 3 new loan programs that we've got, here are actual 3 strategies that are going to work. And yes, we're showing multiple different loan programs, but it's more, I'm in the weeds with you. I am working up different strategies on different types of buyers. And here's the way that you can attack any sort of offer by working with us. So just puts us well ahead than just saying, hey, here's another meeting on another 2-1 buy down or 1-0 buy down that just rolled out.
yeah. And I just want to read Mose's comment here in chat and then Brock bring up a couple TCAs, but she says, I love that you're anticipating the possible inquiries of the buyer and presenting them up front. Using AI makes it limitless and easy to push to deliver. So again, very, netted it out. Nice takeaway. So Brock, show us an example of this in the real world.
Yeah, so let me share this one. All right, so you see here, this is right in line with number 10, how we've got it structured. So lower payment, not the highest, not the lowest cash. Like I said, removing their mind off of just the detailed numbers and getting them really to the concept of what's going to be in line with their goals. But with looking at this, there's already the prompts, and this is what really started giving us the ideas, the prompts that you guys already have in here based on the TCA. But when I'm looking in here, what is going to this
And I want to
this
remind people
cost option?
you can use voice to text. So you can click a little button and just talk to it. Uh,
Yeah. So with this over the next 2 years, and I've got this worked up over a 24-month period for this client. But with looking at this, we're able to see exactly what the overall cost. So we're not looking at just seeing, hey, this is $270 difference. This is $185 difference. No, there's an $8,000 difference between this lower payment option and the lowest cash option. So it ends up becoming a no-brainer to the client once they're going through this prompt. So we'll have that conversation. They'll see these graphs, but once they go home and they're diving back into this, I'm getting notified as soon as they do these prompts, as soon as they finish their session, finish their conversation back and forth. This shoots over to me, and then on our next phone call, I know exactly where they've left off. I know the questions and kind of where our conversation has led their mind with how they've used the AI here. But this is right in line with just about every TCA that I'm doing, and then whatever prompt that I'm really trying to help teach them on. I'll work up the graphs in line with that, whether that's principal paid or net worth. But on this one, very, very simple on savings. And he wants to see at a 6.5, it might make sense to refi in a year. At a 5.875, it may not make sense to refi in that time. So he's got a lot of options on this guy, but being able to point it back here, I know exactly where their mind went from our phone call. That's going to allow me to set myself up to be even more impactful on our next phone call.
What's
love,
cool,
love
what's
what
cool
you're doing.
also, what's cool also about this, Dave, I was at a coaching a loan officer earlier today, and we talked about this. And he uses MortgageCoach. He's used it for a while. I was talking to him. He had a realtor presentation this morning, and he and I got a phone about an hour and a half ago. A realtor said, "Hey, we have a Monday morning meeting. Why don't you come to the office? There's 4 buyers agents there. Tell us what makes you special as a loan officer." So the plan was he was coming in there, he had a TCA prepared, and he had these 10 prompts of the questions asked. When he was presenting to a real estate group, he pulled up the total cost analysis, he pulled up his 10 prompts, and he said, "Hey, if you're a borrower and these are your goals, let's ask AI a question." So he's asking the AI a question of the total cost analysis in a realtor presentation, live time. And the question at the end is, "Hey, do you get the same kind of firepower when your loan officer shows options to your borrowers?" And the answer was absolutely no. He walked away with 2 referrals that day. Today, he walked away with 2 referrals from that real estate group today.
So guys, let's just sit with that for a second. I mean, first of all, this is a wow. Like, who else has a AI powered pre-approval that that is going to help consumers gain clarity and confidence when buying homes? You do. So, like, what a great opportunity to schedule meetings with realtors, do lunch and learns. I mean, if you are a mortgage coach and you're on this right now, I mean, Wally, what is some Wally scripting on how to reach out to agents, get opportunities to go through these prompts and to actually show how you can help a realtor? How would it sound?
I mean, I don't cold call agents, so I can tell you from the connection of, so I only call realtors or prospect to realtors that I've got a relationship in the door with. So I usually use title companies to get me an introduction. So once I've got that introduction via email, via phone, via text, I'm just calling and let them know and say, "Hey, instead of coming in and kind of sharing with you everything that I feel it makes me special, tell me a little bit about what a loan officer is important to you." They say blah blah blah. Well, great. Specialize in blah blah blah, but I've got a secret weapon that most other loan officers don't have. Well, what is that? Well, instead of me telling you, why don't I show you? When is your next team meeting? They come in for a next team meeting. I come in, I bring my mortgage coach, put it up on their TV or projector screen, and I'm going through the AI version of mortgage coach, asking the prompt questions that I'm asking them to give me questions. I'm asking I'm asking the realtors in the audience, in the group, in the mastermind, "Hey, what would you want to ask it? What is a question that?" And this is I can't take credit for this. One of the team leaders asked the other day. She goes, "Hey, can I have access to that? So when Saturday afternoon and the buyer has questions on it, can we ask the AI that question on a Saturday afternoon when we're out looking at houses?" Yes, you can. And so the ability to be able to have it at a realtor's fingertips at an open house or when they're out showing houses, it's a tool that we all have access to. I don't know the market share of mortgage coaches out there in the world, but still today, I very rarely run into other loan officers in here, Dallas, Fort Worth, that use mortgage coaches total cost analysis. It's a huge differentiator.
Love that. I love Katie Shiv just called out, instead of tell you, why don't I show you? Want to make sure you
Yeah.
guys got that. By the way, guys, if you are not following Katie on Instagram, Katie, if you could share your Instagram, she is the head of marketing for First Home IQ. She is an AI marketing ninja. She's created some just incredible brand books for me so that all of the Dave Savage code, the Dave Savage brand book is built into AI so that when I use AI, it's even smarter. Make sure you follow. Oh, she gave us a website. Follow her on Instagram. She's incredible. Thank you, Katie, for putting in some awesome notes. And she just guys gave you a link to follow her on Instagram. You'll get smarter following her, and she's pretty entertaining. All right, we got anything else, Brock? We're about 9 minutes till game time. Anything else that you plan to show or tell?
Man, so one thing that Wally touched on was on Saturday afternoon, the agent having access to it. It feels like you have an entire team that is AI working with you, and they absolutely love it. And they will tell their other real estate agents about it. They'll tell their other friends in the industry about it. But it also keeps us from having to hop back in more than we absolutely have to. So with looking at that on a Sunday, on a Saturday, it's another time where it could have been a text message back to you, but you're going to get notified, and then you look extremely proactive on the weekends. Even if you're enjoying your time out golfing, you're going to be able to get a notification that, hey, they might be out on showings. They just asked this question, and this is something that they didn't directly have to come to me for, but they're utilizing my software. They're seeing value in this, and it allows them to constantly have access to my team, essentially, but the team is just going to be powered 24/7 where I don't have to be working 24/7 to do it.
Love that. So not only is it a new superpower in the marketplace, saving time, creating
Mm-hmm.
efficiencies for both you as the advisor and for the consumer, creating more efficiencies. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? We've got about nine more minutes before we wrap it.
Yeah, I would just, I mean, my opinion on this is you can hit a base, you can hit a base hit, or you can hit a home run with this tool. So to me, a base hit is converting that client and winning that loan. Just understand, if you've read my book or done any of my courses, I preach about the 6-lane highway. So a home run in my mind is you sitting down with the listing agent, showing them what you did. Sitting down with the financial advisor, the CPA, the family will attorney, the insurance agent, and be able to show them where you've got streamlines of business from this. I think when you can use this as a great tool to be a multiplier loan officer and instead of an addition loan officer. So to figure out what other lanes can you use this tool to broadcast how different you are in the marketplace and the value that you bring, it's going to help you get streamlines and referrals instead of just only winning that one loan. You'll be able to win streamlines and referrals from other partners that you would have never been able to land if you didn't have a tool like this to differentiate you.
Agreed. So guys, there is an advice revolution taking place, and AI has accelerated that race. Consumers, they have it. It's the most widely adopted technology in history of mankind. It's the fastest, most widely adopted technology that we've ever seen. And you can be the leader, but you have to like unlearn old workflows like a fee worksheet, quoting rates and fees, and and you do to learn how to use AI, how to use Mortgage Coach, and then it's moving fast. Like you need to constantly relearn. And that's why I do interviews like this. This is why we do podcasts, is we're learning and then we're relearning. So I hope you guys, as you we just launched this last week, and Wally's been in the beta for about a month. So he's, great scripts, bro. What a great OODA loop. You observed, you oriented, you decided, you acted, and you guys are just killing it. So thank you, you and Brock. Mose, anything, knowing, your role at NAV, New American Funding, and then, your commitment to helping underserved families and your commitment to just helping people get creative around getting into home ownership, house hacking. Is there anything that you want to share with folks that you think they could use this or they could use Mortgage Coach with AI to do?
I think it's amazing. It takes away the heavy lifting that you would think would be the issue with you getting things figured out or reformatted and back to a client. So anything that helps you save time, but be able to operate at the highest level possible and give that service to the client is always amazing. I'm always willing to take that and be able to use it. I think it's a great way to use with your other partners though, because I'm not seeing business be won these days by dropping, hey, I have this new product. You're not going to have people beating down your door, dumping products about this new program that came out. No one's getting excited about that. But what Brock and Wally have brought to the table is an easy way, already pre-made for everybody to have some of those prompts and just be ready to deliver upfront. So I think it's amazing.
And by the way, did you guys know each other? Did you meet at Forward last week? Because you guys you were at Forward, weren't you, Wally?
Yeah, I was, but I didn't get a chance. I just followed her on Facebook. Hopefully, if I'm lucky enough, she'll follow me back.
Yes, of course I will. Actually, someone else in my Forward Mastermind, I think, just did a post about you. Greg.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did a post about you. So I'm like, oh, who's this Wally? And look where I am today. But it was meant to
That's
be.
awesome.
Good to meet
So
you.
you guys should know each other. You should both follow each other on Instagram. And Wally put a link in chat how you can become part of the 24/7 community. He also put this amazing tool together. Make sure you click through and you get that. Make sure you follow Mose. She's an incredible mortgage advisor. I've interviewed her multiple times. And Mose, thank you for all the amazing things you're doing for First Home IQ. Kristen sincerely appreciates that. Brock, any closing thoughts from you, brother?
And just utilize this time after time with your partners. This has been the biggest differentiator on winning listing agents. So every single time, always put a buyer agent on it. When you respond to your listing agent, oh, put this on there. Don't be scared to show a little bit about what you're doing for your client. And it's gonna make that landing that meeting after you do an awesome job in your closing. It's gonna make it 10 times easier. So just don't be scared to put these out in front of other partners is my main takeaway.
Yeah, by the way, that was a pretty nice little piece of gold at the very end. Listing agents, like great tool with listing agents. And Wally, super grateful for you putting this together. You get the closing
Mhm.
thoughts. Anything you want to make sure we close out on?
Um, I'd probably say something. Very few times in my career do you see something that's going to transcend the industry. I think what I love what Mortgage Coach has done, Trust Engine's done, is being able to transcend the technology to the industry and makes all of us, including myself, look so much smarter and so much more professional and so much more articulate to our borrowers. And now for somebody that is ADD, ADHD, dyslexic, and has dysgraphia that can barely spell cat, I can input it into Mortgage Coach AI, and it makes me sound so freaking brilliant, and I absolutely love it. So if you're not using it, then it makes you look so much better to bars. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, love that last point.
Mhm.
Because remember, guys, you have AI on the loan officer side. And by the way, this is like first base for us. Like we have an entire roadmap of how we're going to use AI with data to make it easier, make it better, to teach you and train you how to be a mortgage coach. So guys, we're just getting started. I hope you got value. If you are not already a mortgage coach, go to trustengine.com, become one. If you don't have it built into your tech stack, let your manager know, like, why don't we have this built into our tech stack? Have them get a demo online. Sign up for Wally, follow Mose. Brock, you the man. This is a rock, or this is a wrap. Take care, everybody.
I guess.